60 Great Ghost Stories, read by H. Washington Sawyer. Tonight's story, Iqsinaqtutalik Piqtuq, The Haunted Blizzard, by Aviaq Johnston. The wind blows without mercy against the building, making the students chatter with excitement. We ignore the teacher and run to the big turquoise-trimmed windows. Looking outside, we see the telltale signs of a blizzard, the growing snowdrifts, the snow blowing across the ground, people struggling to walk against the wind. We also see, don't see is more accurate, other signs of the blizzard. Buildings and landmarks missing on the horizon as the approaching storm obscures them in its white and violent embrace. There is a high-pitched beep, and then the PA system crackles as the voice of the school secretary comes out, alternating languages from Inuktitut to English. Due to the sudden change in weather, school is canceled until further notice. For students with older siblings at the high school, you must wait to be picked up before leaving. Please notify a parent or guardian once you arrive safely at home. Anything that our teacher may have said is lost, as all 30 of us exclaim in delight and rush out of the classroom to get our jackets on and leave. Within moments, I am bundled up into my snow pants, my winter boots, and the parka my auntie made for me this year. A stampede of students storms out of the school from all exits. I am among the grade 7s, the last grade before we move on to the high school uptown. We are at that age where we are old enough to leave the school on our own, even if we have a sibling in the high school. We burst from the recess door where a playground is protected by the U-shape of the building's courtyard. We usually call it the kindergarten playground because it is safer and easier for teachers to watch as they shiver in their Canada Goose parkas. The day is already darkening, as we barely have sunlight for more than a couple of hours in the winter. A twilight has taken its place in the sky. The playground is nearly abandoned as the younger kids in the lower grades wait inside for their parents or siblings to pick them up, and the other older kids leave through other exits with more direct paths home. We older kids run in haphazard directions, excited to go home and do whatever we want. Watch TV without parental or sibling intervention, eat all the snacks left in the fridge or cupboards, sneak around to see what our parents might be hiding in their bedrooms. The wind blows sharp snow pellets against my face. It stings my eyes, but my body is filled with such jubilance that I don't care. Uli, Nita, and I all run toward our section of town together. We live near the breakwater on the shoreline, the Iqsinaqtutalik. Our houses are all close enough together that we can get most of the way home before splitting up. Uli is the first to separate. Her brother is smoking a cigarette on their porch, bundled in a shabby coat. He must be freezing. He isn't wearing gloves or mitts, and as Uli arrives in the steps, we can hear him berating her for no reason, as he always does. The storm continues to thicken as Nita and I keep trudging home. We stopped running just outside the playground, our excitement dwindling, and we are now leaning forward into the wind. Our heads are turned to the ground, our hands holding on to the fur trim of our hoods to keep the wind from blowing them off our heads. We slide from the middle of the road, where the wind is strongest, to walkways between houses, where there is more cover. We reach Nita's house next. Its humble frame is surrounded by hunting equipment strewn across the ground. The equipment had been tied to her grandfather's chamutik, but the wind has loosened the grip of the rope, and the tools are being swept away. Her grandfather's husky is bundled into a ball on the porch to stay warm. Nita's grandmother is staring out the window, waiting for her arrival. Once she spots us outside, she rushes to open the door. "Ati! To Avi!" she calls out in Inuktitut. She can't speak English. "Come on, hurry up," is what she said. Nita rushes up the stairs, and I continue on my way home, but her grandmother calls out to me again. "Inu," she calls, "stay with us. It is too dangerous. This storm is full of bad things." "I'm okay, grandmother," I answer in Inuktitut. Having grown up copying Nita, I call her grandmother too. "I will be home soon," I tell her. She keeps calling after me, but I've gone too far. The wind distorts and carries her words away. I walk around the mound of snow built up by snow plows. The wind rests for a second, and I finally look up from the path I know by heart. I can see my house from here, elevated a meter off the ground on stilts drilled deep into the permafrost. In a fleeting quiet, something feels wrong. I stop walking for a moment and look at the path ahead of me. Everything seems normal. I look behind, and there's nothing. Wait. There's a shadow. Something squeals from my throat, and I start running. The wind soon picks up speed and sharpens, piercing my ears as I run. I remember what Nita's grandmother shouted at me, and I want to kick myself for not listening. Her voice echoes in my mind. "This storm is full of bad things." There are blizzards all year long. Sometimes they come only once a month, but often they come more frequently. Sometimes they destroy things in the town, blow the doors and roofs off buildings, cover tracks in the snow that hunters need to follow on their way home, and bury precious equipment until the snow melts in the summer. This blizzard is different, though. Elders tell us stories about blizzards all the time, about their danger, and about the things they do to their homes and our people. Once in a while, in Iqsinaqtutalik class, an elder will tell us about a storm that fits itself in among the others. Once in a long time, years and decades in between, this blizzard comes back. It roams through our land, bringing something with it. The elders never tell us what it brings. Ghosts or creatures, or perhaps it is simply that shadow that I caught a glimpse of in that second. They just say to find shelter and never be alone. "This storm is full of bad things," she had tried to warn me. I am running, but barely moving. The path behind my house feels like it's turning into a tunnel as the wind picks up again, and I'm fighting against the air. I hazard another look back, and the shadow is still there. It looks like a person. It's following me, but the wind is slowing it down too. Finally, I am close enough that I can touch the side of my house. Reaching the stairs, my feet finally have traction, and I climb up the steps as quickly as I can. I lock the door as I make it inside, flicking on the porch light. A gust of wind howls up the stairs outside. There are no windows in the porch, so I can't see if the shadow has followed me here. I'm too scared to move as I lean against the door, hoping the lock and my weight can keep me safe and secure. The house is empty and dark. Ring, ring, ring. The phone rings from the living room. I'm still stuck in the porch, frozen. What was it? The phone keeps ringing until the answering machine picks it up. After the beep, I hear my mother's voice. "Panique? Call me when you get home, okay? I'm stuck at work. The weather is too bad outside." My mother's voice makes me feel safe again, so I head to the living room still wearing all my outdoor clothing. I flick on each light I pass, the hallway, the kitchen, the living room. I dial my mom's office number. She answers on the first ring. "Panic," she says. "Hi, Anana," I say. "Are you home?" she asks, but she gives me no time to answer because she already knows I'm home. She saw our phone number on the caller ID. "Inu, are you alone? Atata is going to try to get home, but he has to wait for everyone to leave so he can lock up at work." "Yeah, I'm alone," I tell her. "Okay," she says. The wind is booming against the house. It's getting harder to hear her voice. "You have to stay inside. It's too dangerous. I already heard that the roof of the Northern is being blown off." "Yup. Anana?" "Huh?" Anana says. Her relief at knowing I'm home safe has changed her apprehension to disinterest. "I think I saw something when I was coming here," I said frantically. "There was a shadow and it's just someone trying to walk home in the blizzard, Inu." My mom's voice sounds frustrated. She sighs. "You and your imagination." "I really saw it," I said. "Taima, that's enough." Her frustration thickens in her voice. "I'm already worried as it is. Atata will be home soon." "Okay," I said, but my stomach was sinking into my knees, and my chest feels like it's being pushed down and squeezed tight. "Bye." "I love you, Panik," she says before she hangs up the phone, all the way at the other end of our island town. My mother doesn't know. She's too grown up to remember the scary parts of our land, the scary things that hide around us. She thinks that the land is nothing more than the science of the space around us, environment and nature. She thinks this is all that lives outside. For some reason, elders and children know more than adults do, and I wonder why that is. They act like they know everything, as if everything has an explanation. At some point in their lives, they forget the stories children are told, dismissing them as fairy tales and myths. They think that the scary women in the ice aren't real, or that the little folk that you can see at sunset are just imaginary, or that giants never roamed the earth. Just like all adults, my mother has forgotten all those things the elders have passed down. But maybe it does make sense that it was just another person walking home in the blizzard. Maybe that makes sense. I may have been confused. In my memory, I see a tall, human-shaped figure with long limbs, long hair, made entirely of blackness, of shadow. But maybe my mom is right. With my growing calm, I decide that my mom was probably right. My dad will be home soon anyway, and if adults are too blind to see the scary things around us, then maybe the scary things can't see adults either. I turn on the TV and sit on the floor. Kids' cartoons come on the screen. I don't even like them, but I don't want to change the channel. The cartoon is full of bright and vibrant colors. I am beginning to forget the shadows I have seen. Before long, the blizzard winds tear against the house, and suddenly I am in darkness. Power outage. In the quiet, I notice something. Utter silence. The wind outside isn't booming anymore. Through the open curtains, I can see the gusting wind, but I can't hear its howling cries. In the silence, I notice a different sound emerge, a small yet frantic sound, a clicking from somewhere inside the house. Slowly, the sound of the wind picks back up, and the small sound is lost in the noise. Something seems wrong again. The hair stands up on the back of my neck, and I look around, trying to find where the clicking noise is coming from, but I can't. I look back to the TV and see myself reflected in the dim light coming from the window. The kitchen is visible in the TV's reflection as well, and for a moment I don't pay attention to it. The electricity always goes out for a bit during a blizzard. It's normal enough. I look back at the TV, willing it to turn back on, until I realize that there is a shape in the kitchen window, a shadow peering in. The power comes back on, the light shining bright as they return. Slowly, I look back to the kitchen window, but I don't see anything. I stand up and walk toward the hallway. I look back at the door, brow furrowed and heart racing. For a moment, I don't seem to know what is wrong as I look at the dark porch. The winds are blowing as loud as ever, the noise deafening, but normal. But didn't I turn on the porch light? I feel the breath catch in my throat, no more air coming in or out. I scream and run down the hall to my parents' bedroom, the farthest from the porch. The door to their room is open, and I am about to run straight inside, but something catches my attention. Staring past the room, to the back door that we never use, something is different about it. It's been closed and locked shut for years. The doorknob is shaking, turning back and forth with urgency. That was the frantic little noise that I had heard when the power was out. Whatever is outside is trying to come in through the door. I am stranded. Maybe there is more than one of what I've seen, at both the door and the window, and somehow it turned off the porch light. So, it is already inside? I turn round and run toward the one bathroom in my house. There are no windows in there, and it is the only room inside the house that locks. I slam the door shut, locking it. But when I turn away from the door and see the shower curtain drawn, my heart stops. Neither I nor my parents ever leave the shower curtain splayed across the tub. Tears fall freely from my eyes. I am stuck. Truthfully, I don't know why I'm crying, sobbing, screaming in such terror. I don't know why the shower curtain is scaring me so. I don't know what hides on the other side. Darkness extends out from behind the curtain. It dims the light to almost nothing. The wind is shaking my house violently, as if in a hurricane, a tornado, a flood, an avalanche. I can't see anything in the darkness. I can just feel the door shaking beneath me as I crumple down, trembling as hard as the shaking house. A voice I have never heard before speaks, scratchy and hoarse. Iqsinaqtutalik, it says. What's wrong? Anigat, Avani, I cry into its darkness. Get out. Go away. A laugh comes out. Iqsinaqtutalik, it keeps asking. There is a scratching noise, metal against metal, as the shower curtain is pushed aside.